Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Anthony Joshua is a cold killer. The way Anthony Joshua responds when he knocks somebody out, he doesn't jump up, doesn't celebrate, doesn't punch the air. He just looks down at his opponents and then he walks off. And that's exactly what he did to Francis Ngannou. He killed him off and possibly ended the boxing career, very short-lived career of Francis Ngannou. Now for Anthony Joshua, Big Femi, who's back and on the map. He's looking to get back in the gym and build towards another solid win by getting another cold kill. And I'm telling you, whoever he fights next, I fully expect Anthony Joshua to knock them out. And I fully expect for whoever he fights to be a bit tentative and apprehensive. Because when you watch somebody do what Anthony Joshua did to Ngannou and what he's done to other opponents, that gets your attention. The same way it got their attention to see where he became a little gun shy, actually a lot gun shy, after getting knocked out by Andy Ruiz. But to see him now, getting that confidence back, nobody calling out Anthony Joshua anymore. Nobody really saying anything negative about Anthony Joshua anymore. It doesn't matter what you think about a person. When a person knocks somebody out cold the way he did with one shot, I don't care what you say, that shit is scary. But anyway, he stood at the feet of Ngannou. Just 2 rounds is all it took. He looked down at him, and you could see that Joshua was just like, this is nothing personal here, Ngannou. I love you, African brother. You're an inspiration. But I had to get you out the way. Nothing personal. Had to tranquilize you. I'm a cold killer. Now you know that. And I've earned your respect. Let me tell you. When a fighter gets knocked out like that and they're not breathing, because that's what I heard somebody was saying, that there's a concern that Ngannou wasn't breathing and they had to get the oxygen and stuff. Anyway, he had checked out, okay? And you can even see when he was like brought back to life. He still wasn't all there. It took him a while to really regain his faculties and process exactly what happened. But as far as this bouncing around the ring and smiling and all of that had left Ngannou after he realized what he was up against with Anthony Joshua. Now for Anthony Joshua going forward, whoever he fights, there's going to be an expectation for him to be able to deliver the way he did this past weekend on Friday. But I can't take it to the stupid. We have to really be brutally honest about Anthony Joshua and coming back against Jermaine Franklin, who was there for Joshua to tranquilize, for Helenius, who was there for Joshua to tranquilize, for Otto Wallen, who was there for Joshua to tranquilize, and Francis Ngannou, who was there to be tranquilized. Those are 4 fights, low-threat fights, but good steps in the right direction for Anthony Joshua to get him from being a pussycat to becoming a lion again and roaring in the jungle and being that cold killer that he was before and now he seems to be again. And I'm going to tell you right now, from the opening bell, from whenever Anthony Joshua gets in the ring, going forward, I just don't think any of his opponents are going to stand a real chance. If they're tentative and if they're apprehensive, you're going to see them struggling with some of Joshua's movements, with his feints. I think they're going to struggle with his speed. They're going to struggle with his accuracy. They're going to struggle with his timing from the very first round. And they may try to throw some shots at him. They may even swing wildly. They may try to figure some things out to see how they can counter Joshua or to somehow get the upper hand in there, because when you're in the boxing ring, I'm telling you, man, that footwork and movement and feints and angles, I mean, you can, if you lose the foot fight, you can lose the fight. I'm telling you from experience, man. You get some guys that footwork, their movement, and how they, move out and come back in on angles, and next thing you know, no one's throwing a punch, and your ass is in the corner trying to figure out how the hell you got there. And I just think that's what people are going to see, is just from the opening round into with Anthony Joshua, there's just going to be a whole lot of stress. Like, the intimidation factor is back. And if you're not a little bit uneasy, a little bit intimidated just by the fact that you're in there fighting someone who can knock your head off, I think guys run a risk of losing, like Hrgovic. Hrgovic can fight, but listening to him talking, I really didn't like to hear him talk like that, basically downplaying Anthony Joshua. And, fighters, when you hear a fighter give another fighter credit, it makes me respect them. But when you get those guys out there who don't give the fighter any credit, and they're basically saying, like, I would have done the same thing, he's a nobody, he hasn't changed. I mean, that just, to me, it sends the wrong message. And what it conveys to me is that they're underestimating their opponent. And I truly feel you're going to see Hrgovic, if he's underestimating AJ, and if he's AJ's next opponent, he's going to realize that AJ is the real deal cold killer. When he gets clipped, and you're going to find him stuck on his spot, and all of a sudden Hrgovic legs become heavy like it was in the Zhang fight, and then he gets hit with something that's going to cause a stoppage. He's going to need someone to protect him, because once Anthony Joshua, locks in on you, that's it. He's putting the weapon on full blast. He's getting you out of there. So that being said, Anthony Joshua, going forward, he has to be a cold killer. But his last 4 opponents, he was supposed to get them out of there. But he's got to do it against the bigger names now, the bigger threats now. Some of these guys with the huge punch as well. He's got to do it against them to, I think, prove to himself that he really is back. And he just needs the opportunity, which he's going to get. Now, don't be surprised if he fights Wilder. Because for Eddie Hearn, he can say all he wants. Anthony Joshua is a cold killer. I'll put him up against any heavyweight. He beats them all. But Eddie Hearn's not stupid, because he knows Joshua needs to win. So what fight is a fight with a big name, can generate huge interest, is big money behind it, and is winnable for Anthony Joshua? Would you put him in with Deontay Wilder or flip Hrgovic? You see, it's got to be real, based on how they both looked in the last fight. Deontay Wilder, he checks all those blocks. Winnable. I think that's a very winnable fight for Anthony Joshua. I understand years ago how people felt, who would have won. And I just think right now, Deontay Wilder has one foot inside the boxing, the other one outside of boxing. I think Joshua has 2 feet in boxing. He's locked in, he's focused, and he's ready to be that cold killer that Wilder was. So don't know what's going to happen next. You keep hearing about flip Hrgovic, something about the IBF. But do not be surprised if Eddie Hearn and the Secret Society, if they make the Deontay Wilder fight. Don't be surprised. I'm telling y'all, don't be surprised. Because remember, AJ needs to win. And fighting Flip Hrgovic, which I think he would do just fine against Flip Hrgovic, that is not an easy fight at all. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. But I personally think if AJ can keep this momentum going, and he found that new confidence, he's back. I think AJ is just a problem for anybody in the breeze.